Danny Gaselli.
So we're taking it back today, if you missed it 10 minutes ago. Those childhood memories of visiting your parents at work. And isn't it just funny how those little moments, they just stick with you? The desks, the uniforms, the people, even the snacks, hey, that you get while waiting for them to finish up. We want to hear your story today. 061 792 9495.
Hey Danny, it's Llewellyn here. I'm from Durban North. So I remember visiting my dad at work. He was in the ship repair business. The weirdest thing is that every guy on the job had a weird nickname. We had Donut, we had Socks, Scones. One guy's name was Toes. Don't ask me what related their nickname to their actual name. But hey, we rolled with it and I'll never forget it. My dad's name was Putu Guy. Don't ask me why.
Hey Danny, it's Rachel from Rachel Lee Interiors. So years ago when I was little, my dad used to be a builder. He used to have his own building company, build houses, and he was so clever with his hands. It was amazing to watch him. On school holidays, I used to go and spend time with him at work. And one thing I remember was when he used to buy a half loaf of white bread. We'd buy some Simba chips and we'd eat bread and chips and have some Coke. For me, that was a really big treat.
Hey Danny, this is Teboho from Pietermaritzburg. So my mom used to be a hospitality lecturer at a certain tertiary institution, and occasionally I'd go with her when she was doing practicals, not a lot of times though. During those times, her students would cook and I would get to have some food and sometimes take some home.
I'm absolutely loving these stories. I'd love you to contribute. Those childhood memories of visiting your parents at work. Let us know, 061 792 9495. I remember I was a young kid and my parents had weird jobs. So my dad was a radio DJ, still is, and my mom was the most incredible singer. And I remember being very young, I don't know, 5 or 6, and she was singing in a club, and there I was in the club, but in the change room at the back. And you know that smoke machine smell? It was so distinct that even when I smell it now at gigs, it takes me back to that moment. We want to hear your story today. 061 792 9495. Sam Boja, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Hi, Danny. I'm well, and you?
I'm great, thank you. Please tell me a story.
Okay, so back when I was in high school, I had school projects to do on a computer, and we never had a computer at home, so my dad would take me with him to work over the weekends. And mind you, at like 5:30 in the morning, I had to leave with him and obviously use the computer at his working place, and I got to see my dad in action while I did my work. So yeah, very nostalgic childhood memories.
And what did he do for a living?
So he worked in a shipping company. He was a supervisor, so it was all import-exports at his shipping company.
Wow. And take yourself back to being that kid. You were looking up at your dad and seeing his way of life. Were you super proud?
I was, and I realized that's why he's so tired when he gets home. Also, He would buy me like chips and cool drink from the tuck shop outside the working place and bring to me. So, yeah, I remember it very clearly.
It's those beautiful memories, hey? I think a lot of kids should go and see what their parents do for a living so they understand why they're so tired when they get home, hey?
So I'd actually taken my kids with me one day to work, and I'm a rep. And my son was like, all you do is talk to people.
And when they grow up, they'll realize how tiring that is because people are draining sometimes.
Before the end of the day, I was right, I had enough. I want to go home now. And I'm like, I'm not done for the day, so you have to wait with me.
Yeah. Sam, thank you for being on the show. What a cool moment.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Danny.
Take care. Bye. Tell me your story. 061 792 9495.
Hi, Danny. This is Aniki. I remember many, many years ago, my dad used to work at a hospital, and he used to take pleasure out of inaugurating the newbies into the hospital. And he used to do all weird and wonderful things, and obviously scary bejesus out of them. That was his favorite.
Hi, Danny. Thinking about my childhood, and I remember back in the day when my aunt and dad used to work at the hotels in Mshanga. And, my aunt will give us a room, a key card, chill, watch Cartoon Network, and then we used to get up to mischief because when we leave the room, there used to be those little trolleys and carts for housekeeping outside the room doors. And when no one was watching, my sisters and I and my cousins, we used to pinch the coffee creamer sachets and eat them.
Hi, Danny. Julian here, bro. My buddy was a taxi driver, man. So, thumping sound, coins jingling in the pocket, his bunny chows on the road. Yeah, bro, taxi driver.
Memories for life. I love it. Keep them coming through. 061-792-9495. It's also happening on our East Coast Radio Facebook page. Cassandra Pillay says, my mom worked at a call center and on Saturdays would go visit her at work the whole day. It was so much fun. I remember my brother and I used to act like we were call center agents and use the headphones. She'd take us to McDonald's afterwards. Beautiful memories. I love that. Keep them coming.
My childhood memory of my dad working, he was a storeman most of his life. And he was just one of the most pedantic storemen you could ever find. Everything was in its place. It had a card. It had the quantity of items that were in that bin. If something was taken out of that bin, the card was updated automatically. And then come stock take, it'd be over in 5 minutes, not 5 days. So wonderful childhood memories.
Hi Danny, it's Jeanette from Westville. I remember going to my mom's work in primary school. I was still young, maybe grade 4, 5, somewhere around there. And then I had to stay by her over the holidays at her work. She worked for Absa Bank in East London. And I had to sit there from 8 to 4:30. So I decided I'm going to start my own small business and do all the filing for all her colleagues. And they used to pay me R5 to do all their filing. So yeah, that's my story.
All those special moments about visiting your parents at work. I'm sure you have a story to tell. If you do, hit us up, 061-792-9495.
Afternoon. My mom was a nurse in the ICU at Mediclinic in Pietermaritzburg, and there was cops that had been ambushed and obviously shot. And we went to go fetch my mom from work because it was time to fetch her from work, and they were busy trying to save these people's lives, and that door flung open and we saw inside the unit, and it was an horrific scene. So yeah, for the rest of my life, that will stay with me. Needless to say, we didn't want to opt to go to my mom's work ever again after that.
Hello there, Danny. This is Kevin, thinking about my childhood. My late father, Norman Hall, used to work at Unilever. I used to go in on the weekend when he worked overtime. I've seen soap being made, I've seen soap being packed, I've seen deodorant being packed, I've seen toothpaste being packed. It was such a privilege and it was so enjoyable. Thank you, Danny.
My grandfather owned a electrical wholesalers in Pinetown, and my mom works there. So during school holidays, I used to go with her to work, and I used to take my scooter and just zoom around the store and talk to all the customers. I remember there was a garage up the road, and there was all takeaway, and they made the best cheese and sweet corn sandwiches. So my mom used to always give away fizz pops to any kids that came into the store. And I used to take those fizz pops and empty out her pen holder and go stand outside and sell them for R1 or R2. It was such a fun time.
Hi, Danny, Colin here. My childhood memory, I was going to work with my father, who was a tailor in town, and he worked for a tailor at least, and they had a retail shop where they sold clothing in the front, and I must have been about 7 or 8 at the time, and I had to stand at the front door and welcome customers and passers-by saying, Gana Pakati, Gana Pakati. Yeah, that was my childhood.
How's it, Danny? I remember my dad and my grandfather worked for the same printing company way back in the years. I'm not going to give ages out now. Used to go and visit there over a weekend and do my bits and pieces to help. Only to leave school and then actually work for the same company as they did. So yeah, that's a memory that I'll never, ever forget in my life. It was awesome.
It's been beautiful taking a trip down memory lane. Thank you for that.
Making your workday work for you. Danny Gaselli, East Coast Radio.